the south side of Chicago. Do you not know black people are suffering? Go to Compton, go to Watts, go to North Philly. You don't know black people are suffering? What is there to study? Oh, because that's us kicking the can down the hallway so somebody else can deal with that problem. And when they get elected, they're going to study it again. Because they know you ain't gonna fight, they know you ain't gonna push back, and they know you're not gonna give up any type of real fuss or cause any real problems. You're gonna go along to get along, you're gonna yell as a boss, you're gonna tap dance, you're gonna step and fetch, and that's why you'll never get reparations. And by the way, masculinity isn't toxic. The soft, sweet, moist, sappy, sassy ass culture that they're telling you to be a part of is what's toxic, because it's unnatural to everything in you. And I'm not judging anybody, I am stating fact. There is nothing wrong with being a man. There is nothing wrong with a man settling differences. There is no man who can date my daughters that can't come across my threshold first. That's what a father does. That's what a man does. Manhood leads. Manhood recognizes its mistakes and takes accountability for them. Men get therapy. One of the most masculine things you can do is say the 3 words black men have been conditioned, trained, and horsewhipped into not saying. I need help. Black men have been conditioned and horsewhipped to say the 3 words that have been killing us. I got this.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Bros Chat, a place where we could just talk about, get away from the monotonous conversations about dating and relationships and just have everyday conversations with the bros. No book up, I go by the name of Eli. As always, we got Ace with us.
Yes, indeed. Back from some self-reflection, the Dailyrapupcrew. We get me out of bars free like a wedding reception, you heard? Ace the GOAT.
Okay, all right. Last but not least, we got you.
Oh, man. You out here, come on, you going to be lyrical? It's a Bro Chat episode. Ain't no reaction. Roses are red by 5. What it do? It's your boy Jew, and we out here making more content for you. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that shit. You heard? Yeah.
Listen, his next guest is an author,
Yes, indeed.
businessman, entrepreneur, unapologetic truth teller, and most importantly, he's the author of the new book, The Real Black Agenda. Dave Anderson, welcome to the show.
Man,
Yes, it did.
We appreciate you pulling up, man. All the way from Philly, man.
All the way from Philly.
Okay.
Brotherly love.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's where you from?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where I'm from.
Okay.
Like, first you gonna rob me. Now he said it like, that's where you from. Like now I can really rob.
Just making sure I touch.
Yeah, just
No, that's where I'm from.
Shout out to Philly, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I had a chance to read the book.
Yeah.
Phenomenal book, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. How your writing style and is very animated and it's very thought provoking. It's engaging. Like the metaphors and similes is on point. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you know what I mean? So, like,
There was a time I had bars.
You should have started it off with
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us what motivated you to write this book?
All right. So the truth of the matter is, in our time, we have a lot of people who spend their time just complaining, like always complain. Oh Lord, when we's gonna do, and there's an orange man in the White House, and I just, you still got to pay your bills, right? And then whenever I put up something, whether it's on my channel, I Never Knew TV, or if I'm doing one of these wonderful interviews, people are always in the comments section being, thumb poets. Well, my brother, I need you to understand metaphysically what the solution is. Why don't you give us a solution while you pontificate on the problems, my brother? So I gave you 36,000 words of
Okay.
That's
Like that.
That is one thing I do appreciate about you, even on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You address the issues and then you actively have solutions. Like, it's not just, I'm just talking my shit. Like, I'm just getting this off. Like, you have some actual tangible solutions, and I can appreciate that about you. You started off the book saying that the system isn't broken, is working just fine.
Yeah.
How does reframing it as it's a perfectly tuned trap, I believe you said in the book, how does that reframing it that way help change the way Black Americans rethink that?
Look at it like this. If somebody hates you, there's no amount of facts, there's no amount of love, there's no amount of roses you can give them that's going to turn them around if they got it in their head to hate you. right? Now, let's talk finances. If there is an entire set of industries based on your suffering, based on your ignorance, based on your inability to take care of yourself from a health standpoint, if 85% of foundational Black American populated neighborhoods are food deserts, of course you're going to go to Church's Chicken, McDonald's, and nothing against the good peoples at Church's Chicken and McDonald's, but we all know what it leads to. You know, I know what it led to. So if I can keep you fat and on that sugar, then we can start campaigning on, I'm going to give you $35 diabetes medication, Black people. Nah, we're not doing that. If in fact we continue to have this situation where we believe that robbing and killing and stealing on radio is okay and saying that's just the culture, when everybody who owns the distribution channels and the actual record companies happen to be palm colored and not chocolate colored, you have to understand that the system is working exactly how it was meant to. We're too either apathetic, ignorant, or stupid to recognize that we're playing in a game we no longer need to play into, and we need to turn inward. I've been to New York several times. I've lived in 34 cities in 19 states because I was in radio, and I found a little Italy everywhere I went. I found a Chinatown. I found a Hispanic neighborhood that was culturally controlled by Hispanics. Show me, by and large, where that is for Black people if you take the hood out.
That good. That's
we
good.
don't-
We don't have
So the system's working absolutely perfectly, and we keep getting the same thing. So for the past 60 years, it's been, well, all Republicans who are making millions are racist, and all the Democrats really love you. So we're going to come into the hood. We're going to wear some kente cloth. We're going to do the nay-nay a few times, and then you're going to vote for us, and we're going to give you nothing. Because if you vote one way, one time, they're not motivated to do anything for you, and the party you've been paying no attention to because you're so scared of them for whatever reason, they're not even going to come to the table. So my whole thing is we go independent. We take care of our finances. Like, name me 5 Black banks. Go.
5 Black banks?
One United, right? That's
One United.
okay.
That's it.
That might be the only one I know. I ain't gonna lie.
I rest my case.
Mm-hmm.
But there's literally a bank called the China Bank. Name me a white bank. You could do it all day. Wells Fargo, Chase, Manhattan, JP Morgan.
All of them.
Do you see what I'm saying? We don't control anything financially. We don't control how we operate. We don't even have sense enough to locally go to our politicians and say, listen, when it comes to the way we are policed, because we love talking about it when a white person kills a Black person, but we don't like to talk about the fact that cops would behave differently if there was some accountability. Here's what I mean. If the cop lives within a 5-mile radius of where he or she patrols, you better believe we're going to have a really nice, good relationship with the police.
For sure.
Because we know where you are. You see what I'm saying? Even our gangsters ain't really that gangster, respectfully.
I mean, Young Thug and them letting us know that right now. Like,
I mean, but did you need Young Thug to tell you that? Is George Zimmerman still breathing and signing packets of Skittles?
Sure is.
What about the dude who killed George Floyd? He's sitting in jail chilling. He ain't got yet. R. Kelly done got popped in jail. You see what I'm saying? The system works exactly how it's supposed to. Nobody expects anything from Black people. And then they put it in movies. What did the Joker say in the hospital? He said, you know, if a gangbanger kills a bunch of kids, nobody gets mad because it's all part of the plan. Let a senator get killed. Let the CEO of a healthcare company die. All of a sudden, oh my God, you know who Luigi Mangione is, but you don't know who killed 3 people in Harlem or 30 people in Chicago last week. Tell me how the system's not working.
You speaking.
you said survival is not success. So how do we get from becoming out of a survival mode to get more into a dominant mode? Because many people in our community, all we know is survival. So how do we go from survival to dominant?
You choose to know survival. You can thrive whenever you want to. You guys are living proof. Okay, show of hands. How many people here have a broadcasting degree? How many people have an FCC license?
Oh, no.
How many people have put 1, 2, 3, 4 radio personalities in the Hall of Fame? So out of the 4 of us sitting here, there's only one real professional broadcaster here, right? Y'all are doing more money. I mean, we could probably run the AdSense, but I'm pretty sure you're making more money than my channel is. You can make a choice. You live in the best possible time you could ever live in to be Black. Period, point blank. The gag is they have weapons of mass distraction to keep you focused on nonsense and BS. Watch CNBC. And on CNBC, you'll hear people say things like this. Start prepping. Start getting meals ready to eat in case there's something wrong. Start buying generators. Start making sure you're stockpiling gold because the dollar is fluctuating. They were worried about bricks and also other stuff. You turn on BET, what do you see? We buy gold. Hey, I'll take your gold. There's literally a dude sounding like Gold Member. Got 15 gold chains on. Oh, come in Brooklyn. I buy your gold.
On BET?
On BET, on any network that caters to black people, wherever they're throwing drinks at each other and calling each other, monkeys and biatches on reality TV, which is also owned by palm-colored people. So, again, they're telling their people one thing and telling us something else, and they're still profiting any way you slice it. So,
like even when you think about it, you go to these urban neighborhoods or black communities. There's liquor store, chicken spot, Chinese restaurant. When you go to their communities, if you go to an Asian community, there's not as much Chinese restaurants. There's not as much liquor store.
In sight,
nothing. And we only there to, for us to our spending power.
Correct. I don't give a damn how much money we have. Not one black person in America can buy an inch of land in any Chinatown, USA. Name one you know. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Sure, you ain't gonna get an answer.
It ain't gonna happen. Have you in the Delhi district or the Diamond district? And you know what I mean when I say that. You're not buying an inch. And if you do, there's a partnership attached to it.
Yeah.
In Little Italy, you ain't buying an inch, but unless there's a partnership attached to it. What about us? How do you let people...
They don't go to those neighborhoods, do they? Like
no. The other part of that is, how do you let people just run up in your neighborhood, open up shop? And I get commercial redlining because I talk about it in depth. But how do you let them open up shop and not tax them? But you got rappers coming into different cities having to check in, but ain't nobody checking in on Mrs. Kim, who's got a cleaners, a nail salon, and a corner store. But Ray needs new cleats. Michelle needs a dance scholarship. Run that, because you're taking our money out.
That's true.
That's what I'm talking about. You are making a conscious choice, whether you realize it or not, to continue to be a victim by buying into victim mentality, as opposed to, and I'm not saying it's not easy. I want to be clear on that. I'm not saying that it's an easy thing to do. It is not. Right. However, how many people here have dyscalculia? Do you even know what dyscalculia is? It's dyslexia for math. How many people have dyslexia? How many people have a stutter? So the 22-time best-selling author with dyscalculia and dyslexia and a speech impediment found a way to get through all of that and being poor to get here. So I'm trying to understand what the excuse is.
You got a speech impediment?
Yeah.
Wow.
Doing your thing.
Shout out to you.
But
man.
That's where I'm a bit conflicted with the narrative, because especially when migrants come here, they will use that same talking point to say, well, black, specifically foundational black Americans, are lazy because, you guys are capable of doing it. You just don't do it. You guys can do the X, but he did it. Like, so if he did it, then y'all should all be able to do it. So that, I understand where you're coming from, but people will actively try to use that against a lot of black people.
So let me make the distinction or the delineation. I'm a foundational black American.
Okay.
My mama black, my daddy black. I did not come from any place other than here. Having said that, I don't go to Jamaica and speak on what's happening in the grill. I do not go to Ghana and speak what's happening in Ghana. I do not go to Nigeria and talk about what's happening in Lagos because it's none of my business. It is not my place. Having said that, the first thing I said was that the system is working exactly how it's supposed to. When you come over here from the Caribbean, from Africa, from South America, whichever type of black that you are,
right,
you get an immigrant experience. You do not have 400 years of chattel slavery hanging over your head. You do not know anything about Jim Crow, and you do not understand what is happening to us directly. You catch a little bit of an incident here and there because you look like us, and most people can't tell the difference, just like most Americans can't tell the difference between a Japanese, a Vietnamese, a Chinese. Do you understand where I'm going?
For sure.
So I'm gonna need everybody who's not a foundational American, black American, to stay the hell out of my conversation. Understand it's not your place. and realize that we have things to do. I'm not saying that we're lazy. I'm saying no one is teaching us. And we rely too often on other people to handle what it is we need to handle. And here's what I mean by that. Name me the Jewish American hero you learned about in school.
Who that?
Jewish American hero?
Yeah, name them. Name me the Vietnamese American hero you learned about in school. Okay. What about the Colombian American hero you learned about in school? Nigerian American hero you learned about in school? Yet and still, I hear black people talking about, they're taking black history out of the schools. Why isn't black history in your home? Your school is supposed to be supplementing. Your education starts at home. Even Malcolm said your mother is your first teacher, and the teacher she gives that child is the message she gives that child, the child takes out into the world. We let everybody else tell us how we're supposed to behave, and we don't set the standards, and we don't check the outliers. We bury our trash with us. Our trash is in the house with us, and we just say, well, that's just how Uncle Ray Ray is. Don't leave your daughters around him. No, Uncle Ray Ray needs his ass.
Yeah.
Y'all let R. Kelly ride for 20 some odd years and didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Even
watching it.
But even with that, one of the VPs at Jive told me, because I was in radio for a long time, I said, a couple of my jocks have that tape. And I walked past the studio and he's peeing on a girl. It's over. He says to me, Dave, listen, by the time this goes to trial, if this goes to trial, we're going to have all y'all dancing. And sure enough, whoa, 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 whoa. And we let him ride. We don't hold ourselves accountable. We just let everybody do whatever they want to and say it's their right. We don't see any other culture. Andy Cohen, if he had daughters, and he doesn't because we know why. Hey, girl, hey. But if he did, I guarantee you his daughters would not be on no show throwing drinks at each other, talking about they going with the wind fabulous, throwing fans in their face, calling each other monkeys. Why do we allow that? And why don't we shame them? When the Italians saw the Jersey Shore, they immediately condemned it. What have we condemned? Whose fault is that?
It's ours, for sure.
It's not our fault that they set it up. It's not our fault that they cast those thoughts, because thoughts run a mile long. I'm old enough to remember when Nelly slid the card down a girl's behind and everybody was outraged, and the argument was a real one. Even if this girl didn't do it, there's a million of them lined up. When do we shame them for that? But you want to cancel somebody for a tweet. Your outrage is selective. I'm outraged at the fact that we continue to not know who our kids' teachers are. I'm outraged at the fact that we don't know who our city council person is. We don't even know what district we live in half the time. But you're mad because of what Blueface did to Krishan? No, that part is on us. And we've got to start setting a different level of standards. And that's not shading anybody. If you want to do whatever you want to do, cool. But don't act like that's all of us. And for those of us it's not, we have to do a better job of saying, hey, that's you. That don't speak for all of us. And you can't tell me this is my culture because you're not one of us. We don't do that.
I think we get a lot of backlash even on our platform. Like if you listen to the message, sometimes I always speak about the iconic why Eli moment, right? And when you think about it, like everybody only cares about her being irate, aggressive, and screaming, why Eli, right?
Right.
But nobody received the message that Eli was telling her that she shouldn't be messing with a married man. No one knows anything about that part of the episode. They only watch the part of her being. So even our content, we get a lot of pushback because they're like, oh, you guys need to watch who you have. We're holding people accountable. We hold ourselves accountable.
Certainly.
So why do you think that it's hard to hold people accountable, even if you're doing that, and that you get more ramifications for doing so?
And real quick, what does accountability look like? Because we use that word a lot. You know what I mean? Like, for example, R. Kelly, what does accountability look like from our community?
Here's what accountability looks like. If we're going to use the R. Kelly example, right? Accountability would have been, R. Kelly, we know, is a functional illiterate. So he's not booking flights. We know for a fact that somebody on his team who also worked for the record label allegedly went and got that forged marriage license or got that forged birth certificate for Aaliyah to be able to marry him. Why didn't anybody sue Jive? Why didn't anybody sue his team? How is it you're just the one man that got caught when there's an entire circuit that you did not run? This is not a Puff situation where you're at the top of the food chain. You're an artist producer. There's all these other people who are making money off of you who are benefiting for what they know is going on. This isn't anything like we stop at the one person like, oh, we got the man and that's it. No, tear up the entire tree by its roots. We don't do that. We let them ride. When is the last time you heard anybody other than Amanda Steinberg and me right now saying Andy Cohen is trash? When is the last time you heard anybody said that the real winner of the East Coast West Coast beef was Jimmy Iovine, who also made more money from Beats by Dre than Dr. Dre did? Y'all are sitting up here talking about, well, Harvey Weinstein ain't our problem. Yeah, well, tell that to Lupita Nyong'o. Because you love black people, right? Ain't all black people black people? Don't we love black people? Even if we're foundation, we got cultural differences. So if he tried to pull out and allegedly tried to get sloppy toppy, it should have been up on him. But you ain't stopped watching Pulp Fiction. You ain't stopped watching Spy Kids. You didn't hit up Robert Rodriguez and say, listen, if you doing business with Miramax, we ain't anything you put out, Shark Boy, Lava Girl, all that is up for. We don't do that. When is the last time we had a boycott that lasted longer than 100 days? And please don't tell me about that Target stuff because that's for white women. DEI doesn't mean anything for black people because 4% of those jobs go to black people. The other 96 are a combination of everybody else. And at the top of that food chain is white women. So I'm not talking about that. We don't have any real backbone. That's why they know they can ride that out. That's why they know that these slick ass preachers will sit up there and they'll go after a Target because Target can be held up hostage for what did Jamal Brown say? $250 million. But you're not holding Dollar General for that because it's a lot of people in these same neighborhoods that tithe to you every single Sunday that need Dollar General because it's the closest thing they can get to food. So it's strategic. It's not about injustice. It's about selective outrage for cash. So it's a stick-up job. So why aren't you going into these black churches and saying, y'all are making between 33 and $38 million a week on tithes and offerings alone, which is billions of dollars a year, but our communities all look like hot trash truck juice. It's up on you, but you don't. You also don't even stand up and say, oh, we want to protect black women, this, that, and the third, but you let your black women go into the church unchecked. And you're not checking this man that she's getting this word from, who's not encouraging her to read her Bible. He's just encouraging her to listen to how good he preached, how good he looked.
Send that basket one more time.
And in some cases, buckets.
So even with the DEI high, right? I often hear about, just like you said, that white women are, they benefit the most, just like affirmative action. So why, even recently, when we have these reports talking about 300,000 black women have lost their jobs due to like DEI hires and stuff. Why don't we ever hear these numbers en masse about white women losing their job or losing the benefits or losing X, Y, and Z? Why does it always seem like we are the ones that are, losing or being at risk the most with DEI?
Show me a time in life in America for black people where black people didn't go out and get their asses kicked and then somebody else benefited. I will give you examples. If you look at the movie Glory, it is about black people fighting in the Civil War, and they're so happy to fight in the Civil War. But guess what they did? They put them on the front lines, and they got a failed general or failed young white general that nobody respected to lead them because nobody else wanted to do the job. Right? You look at Red Tails. Oh, we fighting because we want to be able to fly the jets and we want to take on Hitler. Name me 5 Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah,
I could do this all day.
You got to stop with the pop quizzes.
Making us look bad out here. Like,
no, I'm not trying to make you look bad, but I'm trying to show you that we're focused on the wrong things. Another part of that is no matter where we go, we continue to do this. Do you know what the Black Liberation Movement was?
What was that?
The Black Liberation Movement was happening the same time as the Civil Rights Movement. The difference was one was black, the other one was civil rights, so that fat, ugly, out-of-shape white women can be stewardesses on Pan Am. You ever been on a Pan Am flight? Of course you haven't, because Pan Am folded. You want to know why? Because there were no baddies giving people nuts. Civil rights is how they shoehorn them into it. The number one minority in this country is white women. So they get the benefit. The number one people on welfare are white women. So they get the benefit. But you know what they don't have to do? They don't have to go out here and march and fight for all rights. And then you got people wheeling out Jesse Jackson, who's in a wheelchair, and God bless the Reverend. But the truth of the matter is, his day is over. I remember watching Jesse Jackson in 1988 run for president. They had songs, Run, Jesse, Run. I know I'm showing my age, but they had this whole situation where he was running, and it was a beautiful thing. His time is up, but you're wheeling him out because that's the last civil rights icon that people sporadically respect, because ain't nobody respecting Al Sharpton. He's allegedly making $3 million on MSNBC and telling people to leave Target and go over to Costco, where there's only 3 black products in Costco, and it's only in a small corner, not even an entire quadrant of their stores. So the hustle is in, and why white women don't get affected is because the system is working exactly as it is. Now, why is there 300,000 DEI jobs up? Because DEI programs had to get cut. And because they had to get cut, we're going to cut the Negroes. Because we know you ain't going to do nothing. And the only thing the dominant society has ever respected is the loss of revenue and the loss of blood. Y'all wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight, and y'all don't walk long enough. You'll do a march, you'll do a hashtag, you'll sing "We Shall Love Will Come," but after you have sore throat and sore feet, where you at? Not to mention the majority of us are fat, obese, and not necessarily moving in a way where you're physically intimidating to somebody without a hammer.
But don't you think that if other races, you say we will march for a period of time, or whatever, but
Sure.
but if other races was to do the same thing, it would be effective for them.
Yeah, because
we
they're
got
backing it up. I'll give you a real world example. About 15 years ago, I'm working at a station called Power 99 in Philly. There were some Asian kids who were being bullied by some black kids. Do you not know that they had the mayor, the city council, and the school board, and they all had a meeting? And then after that, they came to the radio station to talk about different programs and things that they wanted to do to make sure that those kids were taken care of and protected. The reason is they don't just march about it. They don't just vote about it. They write checks. See, we live in this world where we believe the golden rule is still do unto others as you would have them do unto you. My daddy, God rest his soul, said the real golden rule is whoever has the gold rules. Everybody else backs their people with money. What politician have you bought? Thank you. That's why they ain't worried about black folks, because you're not backing nobody.
But do you also think because that their home countries back them?
Again, regardless of if their home countries back them or not, yeah, they can go back to their home countries. I get that. My point is, even if they couldn't go back to their home countries, they are still participating in group economics, and they're buying their politicians. America has always been for sale. Malcolm X told you that, you didn't listen. The boys told you that, you didn't listen. God, I hate to say it, Kanye told you that and you didn't listen. Because anytime he says something, he crazy. But it's funny how he's 100% right. We do not write checks to the people who will do what we need them to do. It's not enough to vote, because once they got your vote, they done with you. So it's not about their countries backing them. It's about the fact that they are greasing palms and we're not. Name me 3 black PACs. You can't. We got to get more active in the way they play the game. It has nothing to do with the fact that they can go to Kim Jong-un or whoever the hell else. It has everything to do with the fact that all we do is sing and march and thumb thug and hashtag. We do not shut them down with money.
So what would that look like?
Okay. City council, right? There is a guy I have been backing for 15 years. His name is Kenyatta Johnson. When I started backing him, he was a state rep. He switched places with his homeboy Jordan. Jordan went to the state. Kenyatta went to city council. I have backed him, not only with my endorsement, but financially every single election from the time he became a junior city councilman to now he's the city council president. If there's a problem, I'll call Kenyatta. Do you remember a few years ago when that thing happened in Starbucks in South Philly where the guys tried to use the bathroom and there was a whole big protest and there was all this stuff? That happened in Philly. It happened in Kenyatta's district. I called him. He said, Dave, I'm already on it. Next day, CEO of Starbucks is here. That's what it looks like. If you can't get somebody to a point where financially or through your power or your platform that you can pick them up and they owe you favors, you're not playing this game right. Everybody else understands that but us. That is it. That's what it looks like in real time locally. I'm not talking about the big orange man with the weird hair. I'm talking about what happens locally. If we handle what happens locally, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, I do want to stay on the politics because, politics is very taboo. Got into heated debates. People have lost friends, family members because of this. You wrote in a book that 90% of us Black people have voted Democratic and has failed Black Americans.
Correct.
So if loyalty is no longer a strategy, how do we exercise our Black political power, and what does that look like to you?
It's very simple. This is our list of demands. I wrote an agenda. I don't care if you use mine or Ice Cube's or whoever, but get behind something and say, this is what we want. If you don't give it to us, we're going to find somebody who does. It's just that simple. You've been in a relationship before and you've broken up with women who didn't do what you needed them to do. You found a way to move around. You found somebody who was willing to do what it is that you liked or what it is that you needed. Why is that such a thing? We are so emotional about politics. We don't realize that, listen, I'm the business bully. I'm not the politics bully, but politics is business. Because if I can't get something zoned, or if I need to do something, or I need to handle something, I have to go through proper legal channels in order to do that. It's dirt simple. This is transactional. It's not just your vote. It is financial. We can spend money on absolutely everything else, but not that. No, that's what it looks like. That's what everybody else does. And if you think I'm lying, explain to me why we've had so many liquor companies not have issues. We've had so many pharmaceutical companies that have been poisoning our community specifically for so long and going unchecked. And anytime somebody brings it up, it's like, oh no, but yet and still, we know more kids in the past 15 years have had autism in our community than we even knew what the word was 15 years ago. There is a reason. And you can say whatever you want, but there are plenty of studies. All of these things happen because these companies understand that this game is for money. That's why there are lobbyists. If you have people lobbying for you and you're paying those people very well, you can get away with a whole lot. It's the same reason that, let's take food, because all of this is politics. The dyes in Fruit Loops in America are not what goes to the European Union, is not goes what up north to Canada.
They banned them.
Right. You can't get that stuff. And no yellow number 5, no red, this, that, and the third. And the funny thing is, they're all made in Battle Creek, Michigan. So Toucan Sam, follow my nose in America is still Toucan Sam, follow my nose in Canada. We ship from America to Canada to the rest of the world. So if you know how to do it there, why is it that ours are more bright and more colorful? Because that's marketing and we want the kids to look at the colors. That's lobbying, because somebody paid the right people in the government to look the other way and say it's okay. Or high fructose corn syrup, which automatically leads to black people like your grandmama, your auntie, and sometimes people my age who are middle-aged having the sugar. And you say, well, you know, diabetes runs in my family. No, diabetes runs in your family because nobody in your family runs and you're eating trash. I'm sorry, how? Like, at what point do we not say that if they can do this and poison us, why is it we can't write checks in order to make it happen? Do yourself a favor. In 1992, there was a movie Eddie Murphy put out, and Eddie Murphy has been trying to very covertly send Black America messages for as long as he has been in entertainment, but we're too stupid to catch them. The Distinguished Gentleman. There's a scene where he's sitting down with a character played by Lane Smith, and he says to him, so, Congressman Johnson, where are you on sugar? He's like, I don't know. Where should I be? Because he doesn't know anything. He hustled his way into Congress. And he says, well, if you're for sugar, I got money for you from the corn syrup people. I got money from you from the sugar lobby. If you're against it, I got money from the parents groups. How you want to play it? Everybody understands that politics is business except for black folk. Cut the check and find people who will cut the check. And if you cut the check and they don't do what you say you do, you'll vote them out, you run a campaign against them, and you call it a day. Because it worked wonders when they got the guy who went and prosecuted Bill Cosby in place over the guy who said he wasn't. There's a guy named Bruce Castor who says, I'm not going to prosecute Bill Cosby. For what? We got bigger things to do. And the guy ran a campaign. I got the commercial. I'll show it to you off air, where he was like, Bruce Castor didn't stop Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was a 78-year-old man at the time. Like, that's not your biggest threat. Matt Lauer had a door installed that could close and lock like a James Bond villain. And I can tell you, having worked for NBC Universal, you can't get a paperclip past there without somebody knowing. But nobody bought him.
Like a trap door?
Charges. Not a trap door, but he could close and lock the door. He had a button on his desk. You can close, lock the door, turn the blinds down so he could set the mood to do whatever he could do, allegedly. For the sake of your channel. You see what I'm saying? So there's ways to write checks.
So how do we, because the last election, what black men specifically saw was a lot of guilting and shaming, and every election we hear our ancestors fought for us to be able to vote. There's a lot of shaming tactics and never any actual tangible solutions, especially when it comes to black men and how we choose to vote. We usually go with our women, and because our women are emotional, then it's like, I've spoke to men who changed their vote because their wife was upset or emotional, and now they voted for, Kamala or whatever the case is. That's not who they truly wanted to vote for, because they did, whether they voted independent, Republican, whatever the case is, they had their own belief system, and they actively got shamed out of that belief system and who they voted for. So how do we get to a point where we could actively make a group decision without it being emotional based or emotionally charged?
This is a business transaction. Whoever doesn't understand that does not need to be in the conversation. See, the problem is, again, we keep embracing our trash. It's an emotional decision. I'm sorry, did you vote for Kamala in the primary?
I didn't.
Did you vote for Kamala in the primary? Did you vote for Kamala? There was no primary. They appointed her as if Joe Biden had died. He didn't relinquish the presidency. They said, after the DNC said, listen, you whack, you twisted, your girl's a hoe, you broke your kid and yours, and everybody knows. Bro, you fumbled that debate. Even Trump was like, I don't know what he said. I don't even think he knows what he said. He lost that debate in rare fashion. And they said, nah, bro, you can't run. So then they started spinning. And because black people don't question nothing about the media, they believe whatever they put on these damn screens. They said, oh, well, Joe Biden needs to concentrate on doing the work for the American people, so he can't run a campaign. So we just gonna put Kamala in there. Wait, what?
Last minute.
Obama said, I think it's very important. Michelle and I have been talking. Well, what we're going to do. We think it just should run to the convention, because that's how it works in a constitutional republic. In a democratically chosen constitutional republic, you are supposed to have a candidate that everybody chooses. They just appointed her, and they started making the phone calls the same way Joe Biden was losing when he ran beforehand, and everybody dropped out. Just magically, they got a call, and everybody dropped out. And we all know who they called, the first black president. Just like when LeBron was in the bubble and he was about to do an NBA walkout, the first black president called and said, hey, LeBron, you're not doing that. We got to stop being emotional. We got to stop letting interlopers and Manchurian candidates play in our face. Everybody talk about, well, no, how can you say Kamala's not black? Do me this favor. Let her finish this sentence. Boom, bye, bye, in a body boy, it. If she can finish that, or she can produce somebody, Jamaican, who can finish that, then we can have a conversation. And where are her black relatives? It's just her daddy? Because I got issues with my father's side of the family. I still got cousins I know who can vouch for the fact that I'm a foundational black American. I got people on my mother's side who I don't mess with who can still vouch for the fact that I'm a foundational black. You can find somebody. But they told you that this is who you like, and you liked it. The same way they told you, hey, we like Tim Walz. You mean Tampon Tim? You mean Tim Walz that let George Floyd die? That same Tim Walz who let Minnesota burn? And you bought in it with no question. Do me a favor, off the top of your head, and again, I'm sorry, I promised you this is the last pop quiz I'm going to give you. If I don't, hit me with the Hennessy bottle, I promise.
Right now.
This is the last pop quiz I'm going to give you. Give me 3 tenets of Kamala Harris's plan for Black America.
For Black America?
For Black America. She had one. It was last minute. It took 48 days to do it. But please, tell me 3 of them.
Sure.
Well, was one of them healthcare?
What?
Free healthcare?
That's not for Black America.
Oh, okay.
And they all run on free healthcare, but none of them did it. Bill Clinton ran on free healthcare.
We don't got that for Obama. There's no black agenda for any. I mean, we don't.
Yeah, but she put one out, and because you didn't know, let me educate you. She said, "Well, we're going to find a way to make it legal for black men to sell weed. Y'all sell weed?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Okay.
I don't sell no weed.
No, I don't do that.
And then we're going to have an opportunity economy where you can go and you can get you can get up to $25,000 to put down on a down payment on your home if you're first generation." Which automatically excludes foundational black Americans. She played the game. And you know what else she gave you? And again, even my wife know I love Megan Thee Stallion. I don't need her at a political rally though.
You don't need her twerking for the one time?
And you gonna twerk in a blue suit? Like, I mean, she's the best looking woman I've ever seen in a pantsuit. My wife don't wear pantsuits. My wife's a woman. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But listen, look great in a pantsuit, but I'm trying to understand how that makes sense. We need things. Are black people, by and large, doing phenomenally well in America right now? No. Do we have real issues? Yes. Have any of those issues been addressed? No. Want to know why? Because we let them put Megan Thee Stallion in our face. We got Quavo up there. People waited for 16 hours to see Beyonce talk for 4 minutes. She gave a private plane to Lizzo, and I'm not mad at any of them ladies getting their bags. But how did that benefit our black asses? How does that help my kids?
But that's another thing too. A lot of our celebrities have been compromised to the point where now you got the D.L. Hughley's and all of these people who are, actively getting that check and then now going on, their platforms and saying, well, this is why you should vote for Kamala. If you ain't black, you ain't black. You're not black if you don't vote for Kamala. It's this automatically guilting, and there's no facts there that to back it up.
So, I'm sure everyone here knows who Malcolm X was.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X famously said the last thing you should be listening to, and I'm paraphrasing, so all you scholars don't come at me for not getting it 100% correct, but what he basically said was you should not be listening to comedians and trumpet players for your political advice. Not to mention, even with that, D.L. Hughley's rich. The fifth king of comedy, who only got on the bench because God Tory decided to do something else, is running around angry every day. And he loves talking about how he got his GED and this, that, and the third. And I was wrong about Kamala. Kamala cut you a nice check, buddy boy. Let's call it what it is. You're mad. We don't know why you're mad. You're rich, but we do know you're bought and paid for. There are a group of celebrities who are bought and paid for who are now gatekeepers, and black people fall for it. I know Ricky Smiley. I've known him for 20 years. I produced his show. I put him in the syndication, and I wouldn't listen to him politically because he got his political opinions and the stuff he read from people like me and other people on the show who were writing them for him.
Gotcha.
That, and then he would watch Keith Olbermann on MSNBC. If I'm lying, have him sue me. I have tapes. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I am telling you that if you know for a fact that these people are being paid by people who look like this, or people who have been compromised and have people who look like this running their situation for them, of course they're going to give you that message. It's always a message of fear. The sky is falling. Yeah, I grew up in the hood, but we had a good time in the hood. I'm not saying that I want to stay there or be there, but the hood was a place where there was a code and there was ethics and there was things that were happening and we were able to build. You understand what I'm saying? There was a time in this country, right after they got rid of the Black liberation movement and shoehorned in civil rights, where we went to black banks. Every last one of my grandmother's children, with the exception of my mother, who was an emergency birth, was born in black doctors in black hospitals. We knew who the butcher was because the butcher was black. Yeah. I'm not going to quiz you, but I'm going to say to the audience, you can't name me 5 black hospitals. I'll spot you Howard University Hospital. Name 4 more. That is the point. We continue to let them tell us what we're going to have and then like it, and then tell us that all we have to do is come to the rally and lobby and say, yay, we like this person because she's for us, and this man is bad. If this man is so damn bad, then why was y'all watching Nene Leakes on his show? Why was you watching Arsenio Hall on his show? Why was you watching Little John on his show? Why is it that y'all are sitting up here letting young Jock get mad and say, oh, I don't like Trump. Time to go to work, make the block bump, boys in the hood call me Black Donald Trump, dope boy magic. Like, what world do we live in where we don't have receipts? Y'all love this man. When Arsenio knew he was going out, he put Farrakhan on the show. Years later, Arsenio Hall won The Celebrity Apprentice, which was the #1 show in black households. Right after he won that, Donald Trump went and got him his show back. And that doesn't mean I think Donald Trump ain't full of shit. All politicians are full of shit. But I'm tired of people acting like Joseph Robinette Biden of Delaware didn't say he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle. I'm tired of people acting like William Jefferson Clinton didn't say that, Obama won South Carolina, but shoot, so did Jesse Jackson. I'm tired of people acting like Hillary Rodham Clinton didn't say we need to bring them to heel because they're super predators. There's racism on both sides, but the racism you like is the racism they tell you isn't racist. I'm against all racists, but I like my racism right where I can see it.
So, I'm seeing a bit of a conundrum here because
sure,
on one end, we're saying that the black community, we have to fund the politicians that we want to see in office. Certainly. But then if that money is going straight to the celebrities and having the celebrities influence the black community, it seems like there's a bit of a conflict there.
2 separate pools of money.
Oh, is it 2 separate? Okay.
2 separate pools of money. So let me break this down. So in radio, for example, that money comes from advertisers, right? There's also a thing called NTR. NTR means non-traditional revenue. That's like when you make money from a community concert or some dumb junk like that. Stuff that doesn't come from an ad itself. That has nothing to do with the $33 to $38 million we give to the black church. If we defunded the black church that is not doing what it needs to do for our community, we'd have more than enough money to fund any politician we'd want to. That's all I got on that.
So when you say funding the politicians, you're not necessarily talking about like the president. You mean like our local politicians?
Local,
that's what it starts.
Regional, state, and federal. All of them. Because everybody else funds all of them. We can have bake sales and fish fry for Pookies and Ray Rays. You know the most underinsured people in America are black people, specifically foundational black Americans? We can find money for any damn thing else. If Beyonce told your girl right now that I'm having a concert tomorrow night, guess what's not getting paid? That cable bill. Guess what's going to happen? She's going to go to the store. She's going to get herself a cowboy hat. She might put some tinfoil on it if she can't find a silver one. She's going to go buy some assless chaps and some cowboy boots, and she's going to be out there with a fan. Saying, this ain't Texas. Yo! Come on, man. We find money for what we want to find money for, and we find excuses for the things we need to do.
That even goes back to like how you're saying like black people controlling the media, right? When BT was owned by black, no, you know, the big mainstream artists wanted to get paid, but they rather go somewhere else and do that for free. Super Bowl, Academy Awards.
Sure.
But how do we hold those artists accountable by, you know, protesting against them?
Stop
or
buying their
even
stuff.
when they skip out on the BT Awards because they want to go to they rather go to the Grammys or whatever the case is, or they
want to get paid.
Yeah, like, you know, so it's like, you know, I get what you're saying.
No, it's a phenomenal argument, and they're all white now, so it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. We have to get in the habit of doing what Jermaine Dupri did, right? So if you rewind the clocks back 25 years, right? He said, yo, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a call. And he made a call to Stephen Hill, who was the VP of programming at BET. And basically, according to Jermaine Dupri, this is not my receipts. I haven't talked to Stephen Hill about this, but allegedly he was like, yo, we need a show like TRL for black folks. Once that happened, regardless of how it happened, what did Bow Wow call himself? He called himself Mr. 106 in Park.
For sure.
So he embraced it. Why in the world do we continue to think that the white man's ice is colder? That is a sickness that goes back and predates my black ass. You understand? That's why Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. But y'all didn't want the Negro Leagues, even though the majority of the Negro League teams weren't even owned by us. There were some. I'm not going to act like there weren't, but there was a larger opportunity for us to play. We have to get ourselves to a point where we are enough for us. We continue to tell them to tell us what we want to like, and then we go and like it. Sexy Red came out trying to question the damn thing. And I like Sexy Red, don't get me wrong. I think she's funny, and she does a great job when she highlights on NXT, and I'm a pro wrestling fan, so that's a thing for me. But at the end of the day, you know, there's a huge amount of artists that will never get that level of shine because they're too intelligent, they're too discerning, and they keep their clothes on. But yet and still, they tell you to support Sexy Red, and we do it en masse. Not all of us, but too many of us for it to be a coincidence.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. We have the power of choice. And again, if you wanted to support, here's what I want everybody to do. If y'all so worried about blackness, right? Make sure you support Hollywood Unlocked as much as you're supporting TMZ, or as much as you're supporting Andy Cohen. Make sure you're
the same shit,
Make sure you're supporting Jason Lee when he does that award show and gives people their flowers. He was the first person to put Jonathan Majors on a stage, and it had Iyanla Vanzant introduce him and, you know, promo for him, and then hold him to let him know that his community still had him. We don't champion that because, oh, Jason Lee is messy and he's gay. I don't care. He's for black people a lot more than I see black people be for black people, because I'm sorry, I'm going to break it to you. NAACP did not have a president until my mother was pregnant with me. All their presidents were white. Okay? Last I checked, the Redstones were white. Those are the people who own the parent company that owns BET. iHeart, no matter how many people they put up, and this is no diss to the good people at iHeart. I was their first director of social media, black or white. Still, white. Y'all, we got some J's on. White. Everything we do through their lens of what they think we are. It's like when you see sisters, you know, embracing, and when I say this, I'm not disparaging, but I'm giving you a real world example. When you see sisters embracing lingo that comes from the rainbow community, that are doing a caricature of what they think black women sound like. Yes, honey, clock the T, clock it. Yes, you ate down, honey. The hell? So you taking a copy of a facsimile of a Xerox of an original of yourself and then re-embracing it. That's the sickness we're under. And until such time as we address the sickness and cure it by rejecting it, it's going to continue to permeate through our society.
There's backlash behind that, though. You can't voice anything about many groups of people.
Sure you can, if you're willing to deal with it. Y'all ain't willing to deal with it. I work for me. I'm willing to deal with it. I left a very cushy job at a very big company. Happily. I wanted them to fire me. You want to know why? Because there was a white girl in my position for the pop station, right? And she could go, leave her door open and go across the street to Channel 6 and hang out with the weather guy, and nobody questioned anything. I would get there at 4:30 in the morning, and at the time, my wife, who was my fiance, she needed to be picked up at 4:30 in the afternoon, right? So I would pick up at 4:30 in the afternoon, and they'd be like, yo, you know, you're leaving a half hour early. I said, that's funny, because when I'm here 5 hours before all of you, I don't hear y'all telling me, you know what, Dave, just come in at 9. You ain't got to come in at 4:30. My job is done. My numbers are better than anybody in the station. I'm the #1 search person on the internet, and I'm not a full-time job. I'm a full-time employee because I'm directing everybody else's social media, but I'm the #1 search. So it's not performance. So if it's not performance and you have a different set of standards for the white woman, what is it? And I told my soon-to-be wife, I said, yeah, they're going to fire me. I'm going to let them fire me. And then I'm retiring. And I did. And you know what? It's their rules. It's their game. I took my ball and I went home because I want to be able to speak my mind. I don't have a book deal, not because I can't get a book deal, but I want to say whatever the hell I want to say. Right. And I go direct to consumer. I'm cool with that. I'm Dame Dash with a little polish. That's all. And what I mean by that is you can say whatever you want, but he's 100%, well, he's 95% right. You're not a boss unless you actually paying your own money and but 100%. I don't believe in bosses. I hire bosses. I own mine. There's a difference between being a boss and an owner. You call, if we were on the plantation, you would call the overseer boss.
Gotcha.
You would call the owner massa. There's a long difference between owner and boss. I'm nobody's boss. I own the company. And I'm willing to die on that hill. If it means that somebody else will get a message that isn't going through filters, that is a little too hot for certain shows, so be it. Books selling every day without that. And I guarantee you, white people ain't buying my book. How many of you are willing to go out and bet on yourself and say, oh, when I know you're going to say, well, it's hard and it's not that easy. There is a 12-year-old making $30 million a year reviewing toys on YouTube. You got a talent you have not systematized yet. Speaking of which, before we go any further, this is for you, gentlemen. That is a $2 million growth plan for what you should be doing that you haven't done yet in your business.
Oh, man, we got to look this up.
Yeah, definitely. We want to
run the numbers. I stand by them. And
yeah.
I made it so that you wouldn't have to spend a whole lot of money in order to pull off the things I'm talking about, because most of it you're doing now, you're just not doing enough of it consistently.
Gotcha.
And that's the thing. And I've done that for every show I've been on, because I always hear, well, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. All right, I did the guesswork for you. Now what's your excuse? That's it.
We appreciate that.
Not a problem.
In the book you wrote, they love our rhythm, but fund our ruin.
Yep.
Can we really use our culture as leverage, as power, or is it always doomed to be exploited by people that own these platforms, other people that own these platforms?
And can you also explain, I know you said in the book, we used to have culture.
Sure.
So you got to break that. Do we still have culture as well before you answer Eli's question?
Okay, yes, we have culture, but the majority of culture that we do have is gatekept by palm-colored people. We sold it to other people. The Black-owned record companies do not exist. You can't name one, and no, I'm not pop quizzing. I'm stating as a statement of fact. You cannot name a Black-owned record company. Sure,
motherfuckers need Google on the side over here.
No, you can feel free. Use your Googles. I have. Listen, my phone's over in the blue pony fur. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I'm telling you right now, there are no Black record companies. There are none. There are Black labels. Labels are imprints. Distribution is handled by the palm-colored people. Jay-Z has a partnership with Rock Nation. Palm-colored people. Anywhere you go, palm-colored people. There is no major record label. We had Motown. Barry Gordy sold it.
I was just getting
ready. And they basically strong-armed Luke out of the situation, not because he was lewd, not because he was raunchy or risque, but because he signed Professor Griffin. Professor Griffin was talking a lot of the stuff I'm talking. And you know, when black people start telling black people to wake up,
It's a
that's
problem.
a problem.
You talking about Uncle Luke?
Uncle Luke,
Oh.
Luther Campbell.
Okay.
And no, he's not a foundational black American, but I'm not going to knock his contribution to black culture. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. Other than that, you don't have any, right? When, I'll give you an example. There was a speech the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was giving on the 4th of July. This was some years ago. I'm ready to say either 2020 or 2021. There were 3 black networks that were supposed to run it. One was Fox Soul. One was Revolt. And the other was Business Bully TV. I was doing streaming before Zeus knew what the hell it was. And 1 or 2 of those out of those 3 dropped out. I didn't. That is what culture is. It's when Reza Islam says, Brother Dave, listen, my mom passed. We're having a funeral. There's not enough space. Everybody can't get here. Can you stream it? Yeah. So I paid for the streaming. I paid for the camera people. I did not step foot in California. I watched it from my home, from the stream I paid for. And I never talked about it until I came on your show, because people always talk about, oh, what are you doing? How are you helping? What are you doing? I don't need to announce every time I'm doing things. I just do them because it's the right thing to do and it's the black thing to do. That's what black people used to do. Now, they tell you what you can say. They sanitize you. You can go from being the most irreverent voice in media to being media's darling tomorrow. You can go from being, a hotshot that calls people pieces of you-know-what to going and sitting on Stephen Colbert. You can go from being the most hated, most dangerous person in America to sitting with the ladies on The View because you've been bought and paid for. That's the problem. Until those people start getting the same treatment we get over somebody tweeting, you're going to have a problem trying to gatekeep our culture. We need to take our culture back. Vince McMahon came back after having all of these SA scandals, took his company private, and then sold it to Endeavor, and then walked off with a $3 billion bag. We need to take our culture private. But too many Negroes are scared. What did Minister Farrakhan tell you? All you scared to death Negroes, get out the way. The scared to death Negroes are now running the insane asylum, and now you mad because the Joker done got out of Arkham and shown y'all that Batman ain't really who you think he is.
I do want to say, a lot of the times when I hear us want to take these risks, a lot of the times it comes back to, well, I got a family. I can't take this risk because I have a family to feed. I've seen celebrity. I've seen Steve Harvey say it. I'm like, and I'm looking at Steve Harvey like, damn, you got all this money still. Yeah, but again, there is no group thinking. Everything is just, well, I can't do that. I can't take that risk for you because I got to feed my family. And I think that's a lot of times how we get compromised in these situations. So how do we get to a position where we could take these sacrifices and still have each other's back at the end of the day?
So you're telling me that somehow you can't take those same card making skills and sell your cards on Etsy? You can't take your same driving skills and go drive Uber? You can't take your cooking skills and start a cooking channel on YouTube? You can't do a bake sale? You can't teach financial literacy, because you went and got a degree in finance. You can't teach that to kids. You can't go to Reverend Dr. Dufunny. You probably can, because he's probably bought and paid for it too, allegedly, and teach how to do that. You can't take your love of fitness, because y'all love posting up videos where you're doing pull-ups on the bars and so on and so forth. You can't take that and then, teach folks how to do calisthenics. We used to know how to make money. You realize there was a time where our number one crop was watermelon, and then they ran a campaign saying that black people are lazy eating watermelon. They gave us Yardbird because nobody else would eat it, and we turned fried chicken into a delicacy. What we have now is a bunch of, well, I don't know how we're going to do it, and I got to feed my family. You know what? My family ate sunflower seeds for dinner while I was building this business. I took my last $20, took $12, got myself a GoDaddy website. I made 100 phone calls a day and called in every favor that I could ever possibly call in to start my business. And I ain't talking money, I'm talking favors. We don't do that because we're so busy trying to floss on Instagram that we want everybody to think we've already made it. That's why you like to go to certain festivals where they have money guns and silk pajamas and they're telling you that, oh, entrepreneurship is sexy. And Steve Harvey's sitting down and Shaquille O'Neal is sitting down. But who built the business? Where are the people? Like, you will know the tree by the fruit that it bears. I can show you in any state I've ever had a client in what my fruit looks like. Nobody ever questions the fruit because P.T. Barnum is giving you the circus and you will let the monkeys monkey around in the 3 rings unchecked. So that's why. But it can be done. We just don't want to do it because we don't like to give up our creature comforts. Our ancestors would be more outraged at the fact that we're voting the way they tell us to vote, which is not what they fought for. They were revolutionary. They wanted us to have the right to vote after we had the right to think. We stopped thinking critically and we start moving wherever they told us to move. Then we don't even know our history so much that you got preachers talking about, well, you know, these house Negroes done went to the White House and they did this, that, and the third. If you knew anything about house Negroes, you would know that Nat Turner, who did the Nat Turner Revolution, was a house Negro. He wasn't a field Negro. He was well read. He went to other plantations in order to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Control the slave population with the redacted Bible they gave him. And he started that rebellion. And the rebellion started, wait for it, in the house. You ain't organizing from the field. You understand? The action always happens someplace else. And so that's where we need to go. You don't want to give up your comfort. If you wanted to give up your comfort, you would understand it's going to be hard. Them people, when they marched from Montgomery for that bus boycott, they was walking. Rosa Parks' husband had a car, but she ain't know that. Not to mention, she was the second person. The first girl was a little too dark-skinned, and she had a baby. And that wasn't the image they wanted to go for. Before there was Martin Luther King, there was a dude named Vernon Johns. Vernon Johns was about group economics. He turned the backyard of the church, something Jamal Bryant said he was going to do. He turned the backyard of the church into a co-op, and he also let people sell their wares, sell their gifts, sell their talents. And you know what they did? The board got him out of there and said, you know what we need? We need a young kid who's not going to push back, who's going to fight enough, but not enough to rabble-rouse them white folks. So they got themselves a young kid with no flaws named Martin Luther King Jr. Because the person that was talking group economics and by any means necessary, he was too problematic. You're too comfortable. I am willing to starve. I washed my nuts in a gas station sink, homeless, before I got to here. And I'll do it again. Because if you can't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. If you not have nothing to die for, you ain't fit to live. What are you willing to die for? Clicks and likes? Come on, man.
I do want to shift to immigration. You said that illegal immigration displaces Black Americans, but we have a history of being in solidarity with, minority groups and people of color and things of that nature. Do you find that a lot of people try to say that's a bit divisive, that we seem to be wanting to prioritize ourselves and not wanting to prioritize or at least help the migrants that's coming over here? What's your thoughts on that?
Two things. Number one, we have helped the migrants from coming over here. Ask anybody in Chicago when they took the money from the COVID fund to give food, housing, clothing, shelter, and job training to illegal immigrants. We have helped them. All these sanctuary cities, the majority of them are run by Black mayors who are Democrats, and they have literally ignored Black people. Every day in Chicago, Brandon Johnson is sitting in a meeting with Black people telling him, yo, what about us? What about us? What about us? Oh, I'm not going to give in to what Donald Trump wants and bop, with your little pointy haircut. Chicago has run in the ground, and I'm not going to put it all on Brandon Johnson because before Brandon Johnson, there was Lori Lightfoot. And before Lori Lightfoot, do you know who the mayor of Chicago was?
No.
Rahm Emanuel, the chief of staff of the Obama White House. So after Obama got up in there and Rahm did a couple of, little dips, he went down to Chicago, ran on the name, and started running Chicago in the ground. And now, here's what Black people do not understand. We have backed every single movement. We backed, Black women backed feminism. Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent. I'm sorry, let me take that back. Gloria Steinem was funded by the CIA. So I'm trying to understand how the government branch that handles spies wanted to make feminism happen. Oh, wait, because if you get women in the workforce, then you can tax their asses too.
Yep.
And Gloria Steinem said, hey, black women, you're not black first. You're a woman first, and then you're black. Come burn your bras. Come buy Ms. Magazine. Come out here. Tell your husband he don't know what he's talking about. You don't need him for nothing. And then when that got done, Biden and everybody else was like, oh, you don't need a man in the house. They went and did what I call the baby face crucible. I'll pay your rent. I'll feed your kids. I'll give you food stamps too. Just don't have no man in the house. And we ran on it. The system is working exactly how it was supposed to work. So when you ask me this about immigration, listen, we gave it up for the gays. There's a gayborhood in every major city. There's still not a brother town or a black girl Magicville. Now, when you're black and gay, explain to me why 2 to 3% of the gayborhood in any particular, I don't care if it's San Francisco, Philadelphia, New York, I don't care where it is. Only 2 to 3% of those businesses are black owned. The majority of them, I can't take off my skin. We continue to get kicked in the teeth and say, oh, let's do it because we got to stand in solidarity. Where's the solidarity for us? Where's the solidarity for foundational black Americans? And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't happen, because you can't cosplay as us anymore. You can't say, oh, let me drop whatever language I speak at home and start talking like a brother and get reparations or get anything that's specifically black. You don't want that. The last thing you want is delineation, but every time I turn around on somebody's Instagram, they got 15 flags and none of them are American. But they want to tell us how we lazy and we this, that, and the third. But it was our ancestors that got you immigration, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. We did all of that. Now it's our turn. And because we're saying we're foundational black Americans, because if anybody understood their history, the majority of black Americans, when you look at the slaves, the majority of the slaves did not come here. There was a very small percentage, and then they bred us like cattle. Had us sleeping like rabbits. The term mother came from what they made us do to us. So, we have no place to go home to. You can go back to Lagos. You can go back to Nigeria. You can go back to the Ivory Coast. You can go wherever you came from. And since you're so better, why ain't you there? But you do not have a right to sit up here and say that we can't fight for our rights or have the right to delineate. We have a culture. We have a culture so good that Akon came over here and cosplayed as one of us. Tell me I'm lying.
No, you're right. You're right on the point.
So my whole thing is, they're mad at delineation. It's not divisive. We have been the most inclusive people on the face of the planet. Everybody eats off of us. What you think K-pop is? The Backstreet Boys, one of their biggest hits is My Love Is All I Have to Give. You know who wrote it? Of course you don't. I'm not going to quiz you. Full Force. Full Force wrote it. It's a Full Force song. If you ever listen to Full Force Essentials on Apple Music, you can tell that's a Full Force ballad. It's up there with All Cried Out and everything else. But when Lou Pearlman decided, you can watch this, a Netflix documentary called This Is Pop, when Lou Pearlman said, oh, I see how this game is going. These new kids on the block are killing it. Oh, that Negro went and got himself some white boys from Boston to sing like he got them little black boys from Boston to sing. I'm going to do him one better. I own jets. I'm about to flip this money. So what he did was he put out an ad, and the ad said, I want a Boyz II Men sound, but an Abercrombie look. And I'm going to sing your music back to you. Y'all love embracing Bruno Mars, but when it's time for Asian Pacific Islander Month, Bruno Mars is the face of it on Amazon Prime. Y'all love letting people cosplay like 1970s soul singers who ain't us. You love it when somebody comes over and they got swag and they singing like us and But us, nah. You let Sam Smith sing Stay With Me like he doesn't sound like he's got Tank in his throat. Pause. He is white Tank. Little Richard told you, I took the Beatles on the road with me. I took the Rolling Stones on the road with me. I'm the architect of this. And y'all called him gay and crazy, but he was right. Y'all let him call Michael Jackson everything but a child of God. Y'all let him call him Wacko Jacko.
Thinking about even Chuck Berry, like, you know, Prince and Elvis, and that's his whole stick right there. Like,
y'all grind up R. Kelly, but y'all let Elvis mess around with 14-year-old Priscilla, and you let Jerry Lee Lewis mess around with his 13-year-old cousin. You're selective in your outrage, and you're not that selective in your gatekeeping. Shut it down.
So how does migration affect Black Americans specifically.
Here's how illegal immigration affects Black Americans specifically.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the jobs, right now we're in a situation that we have not been in since 2021, which is there are more unemployed people than there are jobs to employ them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I've got a workforce that can be paid under the table, if I got a workforce that I can train for pennies on the dollar, and if I got a workforce that does not believe in a 40-hour work week, thank you, John D. Rockefeller, then I can bypass all you nappy-headed Negroes and go right to Juan. It works so good every day outside the Home Depot, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it affects us. Ask anybody in Chicago, ask anybody in Philadelphia, ask anybody in the People's Republic of California why we got so many homeless veterans, so many underemployed, unemployed Black people, so many homeless people, but y'all talking about y'all want Gavin Newsom to run for president? Yeah, you got Maxine Waters, who did not come to Compton, which is in her purview, last I checked, when people was getting shot up, but she sure enough took her behind on a private plane to come to stand in solidarity with the illegals. Are you kidding me? Did y'all check Auntie Maxine on that? Where in the world did Jasmine Crockett get this Black scent? She went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. She had two parents, and her parents had a real good marriage. But all of a sudden, you look at the tapes before she got elected, when she got appointed to that position, to run for that position, to see the person that was mentoring her. And then all of a sudden, oh, we gonna talk about Governor Hot Wheels. Lashes out here looking like a Snuffleupagus cosplayer. And she's sitting up here putting on a show for you. And you let her ride on that, because you think that caricature is all we can get. And we're so starving for representation, we will take a pile of dung in a crystal glass, put whipped cream on it and a cherry and call it chocolate mousse and say it's dessert time, so that when real chocolate mousse comes along, say, oh, that's too sweet, I don't like that. That ain't the chocolate mousse I was fed. Because you'd rather have dressed up excrement than you would real quality in anything.
That goes to with the symbolic wins you spoke about in the book. Yeah,
absolutely. We love representation. First, why do you care who the first Black person is? Sure. Is that putting anything in you? Chris Rock told you 25 years ago, yeah, everybody's OJ won, we won. What did we win? I looked in my mailbox every day. I ain't seen no OJ prize. Y'all love symbolic wins, and they know you love symbolism. That's why they give it to you. Because when you start asking for tangibles, they send out Roland Martin's bitty bip bip ass.
Every time you do that, every time I hear you do that, it's always the most hilarious.
No, go to my iPad. And then his bouncing head balls of merry men going, yep, whatever you say, Roland. He sat up there and made a poignant point. He said that Black people continue to put networks up. And then when they make all the money off of Black people, they go and then get rid of all the Black people. I can't argue with that. So I said to Roland Martin, I said, Roland, you got this Black Star Network. It's a YouTube channel, and I'm not dissing YouTube channels, but let's not make it more than what it is. It's a YouTube channel. You got this Black Star Network, YouTube channel, and you're saying on your Black Star Network that this is a problem. So since you've got all of these sponsors and you've got all of this outrage, you went on a 45-minute tirade about it. Roland, why don't you just launch an entertainment arm of the Black Star Network? He said, and I quote, and I got the screenshot. Why would I do that? Because you just bitched about it. I want Fanbase to be the top social media site. I'm going to tell you why it will not be, in my professional opinion. As somebody who's been in Silicon Valley before Isaac Hayes III, respect to Isaac Hayes III. I love what he's doing. The issue is, you guys are YouTube stars, respectfully. You guys are podcasters. You guys are making money in that. You can name, and again, this is not a quiz, this is a statement of fact. Anybody you know can name 5 YouTube stars. You know a TikTok star. You know Instagram stars. Have I told a lie yet, or anything that I'm saying you don't agree with?
You're right.
Name me the Fanbase star.
Well, him.
Ooh. Name me a Fanbase star who isn't the son of Black Moses.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Outside of him, I don't.
Yeah, but is that his fault? Or if we are the culture, why we make everybody else's platform popping? Why we can't go to a Black-owned platform and make that popping?
We could make it popping if it was a situation where we weren't felt like we were shamed into doing so. Make your situation hot. Y'all used to sit up here and say Nick Cannon was whack. And granted, everybody still makes fun of his rap records.
Yeah.
Right? I thought Gigolo was jamming. I ain't gonna lie.
I was bumping him.
Not trying to be a
on by myself.
Listen, I thought, listen, sun shines on the dog day. I'm a gigolo.
Wait. What you say you thought it was high? You talking about Nick Paul? You talking about
gigolo?
That's Kel Paul.
His bridge was hot. I'm not trying to be your man.
Hello, Bow Wow.
Listen, I'm not going to act like the man is not talented because he's gifted.
Yeah,
and act like Nick Cannon is not gifted is a disrespect.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick Cannon is like when people say this person's the next Will Smith. No, Nick Cannon was the next Will Smith. And Nick Cannon has learned his lessons and has done some things in order to put black people in position. I absolutely respect that.
For sure.
So ain't nobody calling him whack because last I checked, 85 South is hot as hell. That Wildin' Out Live tour is hot as hell. Yeah. People are still watching Cannon's class. He turned spades playing into an industry. He commercialized a black game. I know other people can play spades. Not saying white people can't play it. Brown people, not excluding you. But black people will fight over 2 card games more than any other. Spades and Uno.
Yep.
He commercialized that. He took the whack juice off of him. He went and married Mariah Carey. You can say whatever you want to, but in the 90s, it was only Mariah Carey, Maya, and Toni Braxton on most people's lists. He did the impossible. You can clown him, say whatever, but I guarantee you, Nick Cannon took himself and put himself in a position where he was like, you know what? He's done some things I'd like to do. And if not, he's done some things that I admire or enjoy. Isaac has not done that. In my professional opinion, this is not a diss to this man at all. Because sometimes, and I've said this before, you got to have a fan base star. And he took that personally like I was shooting at him, and I'm not. When I'm shooting at you, you'll know it. I love and respect that man, if for nothing else than the fact that I knew his daddy. I'm saying you need to build a star from the ground up and prove to people that the platform is hot. Not spend all day on Instagram and YouTube talking about what everybody else is doing to you. No one wants to follow a victim into a war.
I get what you're saying, but these other platforms, Vine, before they was Vine, before TikTok, they didn't have that star that you're saying. Like, so why is it that we have to go above and beyond to show that we got a star when none of these other platforms?
Black history,
Clubhouse didn't have no star, and we made that so popular they end up selling. Like, they didn't have stars, and yet we still made it popular. So why do we have to have that extra boundary to make?
Name the CEO of Clubhouse. Name the time you saw the CEO of Clubhouse say, hey, get on Clubhouse, or did it happen organically?
It happened organically. Yeah.
What about the CEO of Vine? Can you name this? And this is not a quiz, but to your point, I'm directly addressing your point. Do you know who the CEO of Vine was? No, you don't. Because they weren't on other platforms talking about come to Vine. They said, this is hot. And they went out and found people, whether you realize it or not. They did something called UGC, which is user-generated content. They found people who were popular other places and said, hey, come do this. And they didn't make a stink about it. They picked up the phone. They had private meetings. They weren't in people's DMs like, hey, I did this whole thing for Amanda Seales, or hey, I told Kim Kardashian she could have 1,000% of her following. When you come from a weak position, people are going to look at it as weak. Black people have always been the tastemakers. We know what's hot and we know what's not. So if it was hot, we'd be there in droves. Wild horses couldn't keep us from it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Not wrong.
If I'm wrong, I will issue an apology.
Not necessarily. Again, the only reason I have the pushback is
Sure.
because a lot of the stuff that you said about Isaac his third, I haven't personally heard that. And I don't know if the average user have heard him have those same complaints or has this victim mentality, but we still don't show up and support the app regardless of that. I've never heard of the stuff that you said.
Okay, can I ask you something? Do you have fan base on your phone right now?
I do have fan base on my phone.
How many times a day do you check it?
I don't check it.
Thank you. You want to know why you don't?
Because it ain't hot.
It ain't popping.
I get that. I get that for sure. But
we can make something pop if we wanted to make something pop. We don't want to make that pop. The people have spoken. Here's the thing. Say whatever you want. We still live in a free market economy, even amongst ourselves. The people are deciding. Right. There was a time when people decided that Dr. Umar was going to open his Hotep Hogwarts. Yes, Dashiki Dumbledore was going to open his Hotep Hogwarts, and magically, the funds done magically gone. FDMG, funds done, magically gone. Okay, so there's a time now where people are starting to say, Maybe he's really good at being the Snow Bunny Undertaker. Maybe he's a meme. And we started to move our attention elsewhere because this was a lost cause. We cut our losses on that.
Mm.
If we wanted something to pop, it would pop. Beyonce is the biggest star in the world because we said she was.
Mm.
We did that. Because there have been plenty of people who took off like a rocket and we got behind them for a minute and they fell off. She hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even her whack stuff, people would kill for. She is literally the closest thing to Michael Jackson on that level, meaning selling out arenas. Even her whack stuff is, if it was anybody else, you would look at it as a triumph. I'll give you an example. When Michael Jackson dropped his last album, which was Invincible, right?
Mm.
Solid R&B album. It flopped, right? If Jew signs a record deal today and he goes diamond, that's Backstreet Boys numbers. That means platinum 10 times.
Right.
Invincible went diamond and they called it a flop because they compared it to the greatest selling album in the history of recorded sound, Thriller. It wasn't a flop. It was a smear campaign.
Mm.
Again.
Wait, Invincible went diamond?
Huh?
Invincible went diamond?
Invincible went. Please, Eli, is your internet working?
It is working.
Please look up Invincible's numbers.
I was going to ask, like, what's flopping for Michael Jackson? Because
Diamond is flopping for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Diamond is flopping. You selling out war-torn Bucharest. Bro, like.
That's crazy.
Stop, man.
So getting back to what you were saying about the music companies being palm colored, the owners, right? Why do you think that the black labels sold to the white people?
Record companies
Yeah.
sold?
Mm-hmm.
Because they backed up the Brinks truck. And they waited. Listen, Berry Gordy didn't back up the Brinks truck for Berry Gordy in 1963 when the Temptations just had Just My Imagination and My Girl. They waited until Boys to Men,
Right,
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Berry Gordy, hold on, hear me out.
Oh, okay.
Berry Gordy was an old man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for him to ride off in the sunset. They gave him a golden parachute. I can't speak to why Uncle Luke sold Luke records. If he sold Luke records or just folded it, I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but again, a record company has the label and the distribution. And if you understand the way the music works right now, there's no more physical products. But you know what it is? It's not the distribution that we want. We want the marketing dollars. We want to shine. We want to be seen. We don't want to be the Grateful Dead. We don't want to be Magoo. We don't want to be Oates. We want it all. And we want the shine and everything that comes with it. So you'll sell yourself, you'll sell your publishing, you'll take that signing bonus and be in a payday loan cycle for the rest of your career.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be on an episode of Unsung 15 years later talking about how it was so unfair to you.
Is that not selling out in a way? I know yes, you did make the profit, but you're not giving back to the opportunity back into the black community. How will we grow? Everybody has to start from ground one to build?
No.
Or are we looking at, as leaders, to these opportunities don't come?
No.
BET was sold,
yes,
like you're saying. Now, Isaac Hayes, he has something, and you could call us, by the way. We can help you get it popping. But
he said he's gonna do that for a fee. And they call me the business bully.
But I'm just saying, like, do we look at those people from taking those opportunities? There's no generational wealth. I'm pretty sure he has family that probably would continue that. You know what I'm saying? Or there's another black generation of people that was working for him that he could still profit. His family could still profit for and let them lead into it.
To answer your question,
real quick,
yeah, sure.
It says Invincible wasn't diamond. He only has 3 diamond records, albums: Thriller, Bad, and Off the Wall.
How much did Invincible sell?
You
didn't get that yet?
No, it just says no. It wasn't diamond. It wasn't certified diamond.
How much did it sell?
How much did it sell?
It probably went double platinum or something. And then
It did go double platinum. If it didn't go diamond, it went damn near close.
It said 8. It said worldwide.
I'm sorry, what?
It said between 8 and 13 million copies.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's diamond.
It is down. I don't know.
Hi, I'm Dave Anderson. I'm a professional researcher. We're talking about a global superstar. We're talking about the records he sold, Sheboygan.
Mm-hmm.
That global superstar went diamond.
Okay.
Oh, maybe they talking about U.S.
Maybe
they were talking about domestic sales. They always start with domestic sales because they discount the global box office in movies and music and sports and absolutely everything else.
Until it's somebody they want to fucking shine that light on. I mean,
but yeah, to get back to Drew's point, why not pass it on to somebody and keep it in the black community?
Again, why not make sure that as a community we do that?
Right.
We're talking about one-offs. We're not talking about collectively. There's a reason. I sat down with Master P once. This is a true story. And I said, I understand why you're suing Walmart. Because they're taking your stuff and they're putting it in the back and it sits on pallets, and that's wrong. You should be able to have that shelf space, especially when people are looking for it and they're telling people that it's not there, it's sold out, we don't have it, the truck's here, they had an accident, whatever the case may be. I get why you're suing, but you got billions, if not trillions of dollars of resources in your phone. You could call everybody. Snoop hosted the Olympics. You can call absolutely everybody. And I didn't name Snoop, but I'm giving you an idea of the, you understand what I'm saying? He's Master P. Who not taking Master P call?
Right.
And he said to me, and I'm paraphrasing P, but he said to me, yeah, you're right, but here's what you're not looking at. It's going to take me 20 years to get the market share that a Walmart has. It's going to take me this amount of time to build that up. So while I'm doing that, I'm suing the pants off of them, and this is where we're going to go. I'm going to go where people already are, and then I'm building up.
Okay.
It's not either or. With us, it's always either or. My thing is yes and. Yes, build group economics. Yes, make sure we do that. But if we can't even tackle as a community the importance of life insurance, whole and term, to the point where we don't know who our insurance agent is, how many black-owned insurance agents are. I stood on the stage at the Rally for Reparations in 2024 and said, yes, the reason that we're not getting reparations is because they don't fear us. Loss of revenue, loss of blood. I also said, if you can't do a push-up, ain't nobody looking for your revolution. The other part of that is we treat attorneys and accountants and insurance like accessories, not necessities.
True.
And folks looked at me like I was absolutely crazy because y'all don't want to hear that. You just want to hear, we want our check. You don't want to look at...
Not funny, but it's...
Yes, we want our check, but you know what else we want? We want everything we are entitled to. Dr. Claude Anderson, no relation, said the same thing. Read Powernomics. We were promised certain things and did not get them. It's not something we made up. It's something that they said they were going to give us. It is a debt that is owed.
Right.
And because we want that, we need that. Because they damn sure repaired the natives. They damn sure repaired the people who were the central focus of World War II. Out of respect for your channel.
Even though
kind of rhymes with your name.
Even though they had nothing to do with the United States.
The United States government put Japanese Americans in internment camps out of fear of another Pearl Harbor, even though they were aware of Pearl Harbor.
And when they receive reparations.
So it's not unprecedented. The only thing that's unprecedented is how everybody else got reparations except for the people who built this country. The current president of the United States said, you guys built this country. You did a hell of a job. Not saying you did it by yourself, but you did a lot of it. You did a lot of it, and you're not getting the recognition. I'm not saying he promised reparations, but I am saying that Kamala Harris stood at the National Action Network and promised reparations, and she was going to sign a bill to give us reparations. Not a study, but they get the Congressional Black Caucus that ain't done a damn thing for black people you can name. Sits up there and says, we're going to have a study. I don't need... Go to 125th and 8th.
Hey, what did they say? They already
Do you
have
not
the
know black
amount of
people
how
are
much they
suffering?
owe us. Yeah.
Go to the south side of Chicago. Do you not know black people are suffering? Go to Compton. Go to Watts. Go to North Philly. You don't know black people are suffering? What is there to study? Oh, because that's us kicking the can down the hallway so somebody else can deal with that problem. And when they get elected, they're going to study it again. Because they know you ain't going to fight. They know you ain't going to push back. And they know you're not going to give up any type of real fuss or cause any real problems. You're going to go along to get along. You're going to yell as a boss. You're going to tap dance. You're going to step and fetch. And that's why you'll never get reparations.
I do want to, before we get up out of here, because I know your time is valuable, I want to speak about AI. Because in the book, I know you spoke about it briefly, but I wish you would actually went more in detail with AI and how it's going to actively affect the workforce. And how do you see AI disrupting the workforce, and what does that mean for the black community?
Black people have been focusing on minimum wage instead of focusing on maximum skills in their development. Here's the thing. Y'all got mad at the president. I ain't like the way he said it, but he was right. They're taking the black jobs. They're taking the black jobs. They're eating the cats. They're taking the black jobs. If artificial intelligence can take your job's not specified enough. Get your skills up instead of your likes up.
Mm.
It's as simple as that. Minimum wage. You're fighting. You're getting people to fight for a higher minimum wage, and you're terrorizing them with AI is taking over. AI has taken over for the past. How old are you, Eli?
I'm 34.
You're 34. AI has been around in some way, shape, or form since before your parents met. Black people talking about, oh, you know, I don't want nobody, I don't want nobody tracking me, this, that, and the third. Boo-boo cakes. Your TV has a microphone. It also has a camera on it. You can Google this, pick a smart TV. They're smart for a reason. They're already watching you. The other part of that is you walked around with a GPS in your pocket for the past 20 years. It's called your phone. iPhone, Android, don't matter. They're watching you. If your intelligence is natural and it's not big enough to do something the machine can't do, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. But you went and got a degree in underwater basket weaving. You went and paid $2,500 to be Dr. Sexy so that you can get yourself an honorary doctorate. You got a bunch of do-nothing jobs, but you ain't got no skill. I ain't never seen a broke plumber a day in my life. Even Super Mario took enough time off to go to the Mushroom Kingdom, and he was still fixing pipes. So why is it because that's not sexy enough? Because you got, again, respect to this platform, but you've got women who sat in these seats and said that a plumber ain't good enough, a mailman ain't good enough, a school guidance counselor ain't good enough, a school teacher ain't good enough, because you got to make 6 figures, but them same strong, independent women are school guidance counselors. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is the delusion that has been fed to you. It's not AI's fault that you didn't get your skills up. My second great uncle was an elevator operator. Unless you in a shishi-foo-foo, ritzy-ass hotel, you don't see too many elevator operators, and it's just there for nostalgia and elitism. Get your skills up.
So what do you say about, you said to get your skills up, but in the next 20 to 50 years from now, when we have autonomous robots that are actually doing the skilled work now, what do you say to the people who says these robots are going to take those jobs anyway?
Okay, let's go with that scenario. Let's just say that Mr. Anderson can't pull you out the matrix, even though I'm sitting right here. Let's just say that AI takes out absolutely everything, right? Every job you can think of, they're doing. That wouldn't be a problem if you had whole life insurance and you were building a situation where you were your own bank. If you went and got your kid a Roth IRA, and max 2 or 3 of them bad boys out. And this is not financial advice, but there's things you could do. You could get CDs, you could get stocks and bonds and trades. You could do all of those things, but you don't, because you want to look good. You rather slide in somebody's DMs than slide into an inbox of somebody over at a brokerage firm.
That's true.
So at what point is it your fault you did not get your money up when you had plenty of warning that a flood was coming, that arcs are being built? You're mad that somebody didn't build the ark for you. You're supposed to build your own ark. Is it not your job as a man to provide for your family? At some point, when are you going to say, you know what, there are things that I need to educate myself on that I'm not going to get in school? You have the smartest computing power in human history in your pocket every day. And if you choose to watch twerk videos and bum fights and rap battles, AI ain't the problem with your intelligence. Your intelligence is the problem with your intelligence.
I do want to ask you too, because you spoke heavily on school and education and how they, tell us our kids are artistic or anger management, whatever the case may be. Right. But I don't think we hold parents accountable enough, because at the same time, we went through these school systems. We weren't successful. And now you hear about the failing rates of kids not being able to read. At what point do we look at the parents and tell them school is one part of it, but when you get fucking home, you got to teach your kids something too?
School is one part of it, but when you get home, you got to teach your kids something too. Now that I've said that, let's talk about the difference between what happened when you were in high school and what happens now.
What?
No child left behind. So, when you failed, did you have to do summer school? I don't know if you failed or not.
I was in summer school.
Okay, so I didn't even know that. I don't know this man.
I wasn't in school much. You know what I'm saying? So
Was that your parents' fault?
Yeah, my parents' fault. Didn't care. I had no parents growing up.
Got you. But you failed and you went to summer school.
Yeah.
Now it's pass them up, pass them on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're functionally illiterate at a higher rate than we've ever been.
For sure.
All right. The other part of that is teachers are overworked and underpaid.
For sure.
Teachers are being incentivized to go to these places where they have to literally fight to educate people. There's no backup, no nothing, right?
Parents are attacking them at some point.
Parents are attacking them. By the way, the school is attacking them. The administration has things. You ever seen the movie Lean on Me?
Yep.
What's the movie about?
Teacher trying to get breakthrough with the children.
No,
their parents.
No, it's not. That's what they pulled in front of your eyes. Like
Okay.
Mr. Anderson pulled you out of the Matrix. See, Lean on Me is a story about what they were going to do now. And what they did was they put Joe Clark out of a suburban school because they didn't like him when he was in the black school trying to get these kids to actually learn, which is stuff you don't see. You start the movie off with him being with little Billy and Becky. So, go on now. Y'all have a good day. I love you. And this, that, and that. He didn't have a megaphone. He had none of that. And you know what happened? They said, Joe, you got to do something for your legacy, Joe. You got to come back to the hood and save Eastside High. Dr. Napier didn't want to save Eastside High. He wanted Joe to do it. You know why he wanted Joe to do it? Because he wanted Joe to get there so that the state of New Jersey could give more funding to these inner city schools as long as they met the minimum basic skills requirement, because it was more about test taking than it was about anything else. So the reason he was locking the doors wasn't just to keep the drug dealers out. He wanted to keep those Negroes in so they could learn all they could need to learn to put in the C in the bubble with their number 2 pencil so they could pass a minimum basic skills test. And that's what you have. You don't have a generation of thinkers who think strategically, independently, creatively. You have a bunch of test takers who sit up there and they fill in bubbles. That is what's different between when you were in high school, when I was in high school, and what's happening right now.
They're just passing their asses.
They're passing them up. They're passing them on. George W. Bush has to come to call for what he did, and Barack Obama has to come for call for what he expanded in No Child Left Behind. You have a generation of functional idiots because the education system failed them. But you know who does get paid? All of the teachers' unions. So yeah, it's a little bit different. And again, going back to the first thing I said in my book, the system is functioning exactly how it's supposed to. Because if you got parents who are too tired because they can't make it because the economy is so horrible, there's no economy problem at the White House. There's no economy problem at the governor's mansion. There's no economy problem at Walmart. There's no economy problem at Merck or Pfizer. There's no economy problem anywhere else but in our communities, meaning the little people, right? But specifically when it comes to black people, the teachers' unions are getting paid. And they're getting paid to maintain the status quo, not get teachers more money. A little 10% bump here and there, sure. But teachers should be paid like they pay LeBron. Name something you can do without teachers. My mother was a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher. Hell, my oldest daughter is a teacher. I was a college professor. And when I taught, they said, Dave, you are the #1 professor on Rate My Professor. Here's the problem. You're teaching these kids how to build a marketing agency. We need you to teach them how to work at one. So don't talk to me about how it's just the parents' fault. Yeah, it is. But this is what they're up against. And by the way, I had kids coming to my class running, tears in their eyes, like, Professor, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm like, yo, have I ever grinded you up for being late?
Yeah.
Well, no, but everybody else does. You've got these kids conditioned to jump about being late or not turning in a paper on time, this, that, and the third. Not about what knowledge they have in that 2 square feet of real estate between their ears. Yeah. It's the parents' fault, but you have to start looking at what the system's actually doing. And when you start pulling back the layers and you say, hey, this ain't going to stand, they'll say, oh, no, don't worry. We're going to do the nay-nay. And with that, I yield.
Listen, real quick, before we get up out of here. Yeah. If the real black agenda was fully realized in one generation, what would the day-to-day life for black Americans look like?
It would look like we pretend it looks on Insecure. It would look like Black is Beautiful. You would see what Eddie Murphy tried to get you to aspire to in Boomerang. Boomerang got critically panned because there weren't enough white people in it. They were going to pan Coming to America because there wasn't enough white people in it. So they created a role for Louis Anderson to put in it. Because the idea of a black on black world where we're not killing SAing or unaliving each other doesn't play too well. The least performing Tyler Perry movie, if I'm not mistaken, is Daddy's Little Girls, because you had a black man standing up for his children, fighting for custody of his children.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we don't want that. But, you know, Tyler can go ahead and put on the Medea titties. And boom,
another hit. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
y'all gonna support it every time.
Every time, y'all love that.
You know,
but then you say we ain't got no, fathers and deadbeats and bop bop bop. No. Like at some point, we got to start looking at what it can be and absolutely do it. And I don't mean what can be unburdened by what has been. I'm talking about what it used to be with some enhancements. Black people are capable of farming. Black farmers are phenomenal, so much so that the white farmers are turning to the black farmers and saying, can you help us? And black farmers are like, no, hold your own nuts, right? We know how to sing. We don't need their distribution channels if we market it to each other, because we market to each other anyway. The fact that Stephon Marbury tried to create a sneaker that was still being manufactured in facilities, if not the same similar facilities than what Nike was doing in China, and everybody got the memo to poo-poo it because it was $15 and it only cost $2 to make. If we started looking at ourselves as something to aspire to, as opposed to Ralph Lauren or whoever, Nike or whatever big brand it was, that's what it looks like. Us loving us, for us, by us. But, y'all shit on Dame and John. Because when the last time y'all bought a pair of E-Tonics or Coogee or Fubu? You don't. No. But you'll criticize them for having a white woman. When is the last time you said, you know what we should do? And when I say we, I mean all of us, but specifically you three. When's the last time you said, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to have a meeting with Byron Allen. Because Byron Allen bought the Weather Channel. Byron Allen could hitch his wagon to y'all and y'all would take off like a rocket and nobody would stop you. But he ain't cool enough. Byron Allen wasn't cool enough for Nate Parker. That's why Nate Parker got ran out of Hollywood, because they brought up a case that he beat. Because he sold his project, instead of selling it to Entertainment Studios, which was owned by Byron Allen, he sold it to Fox Searchlight, and they buried it. That's what they do when black people who try to get a message out go to platforms that aren't controlled by black people. You bury it. Anywho, so if we made sure that we shame the people who bury black people who are doing right by our community, started having, accountability without cancellation, reform amongst ourselves, if we policed ourselves, if we stood up for ourselves, if we went back to acknowledging our elders and respecting our ancestors' legacy, if we started realizing that maybe it's not a good idea to patronize the liquor store, and maybe we should stop sitting up here and putting Yelp reviews on Jamaican spots because they didn't put enough plantain in your daggone curry chicken, maybe we could get further. That's what it looks like. Be black, build black, buy black, repeat. And the fact that we're the only community that I have to say that to, you've never seen a Chinese American say buy Chinese. You've never seen a Jewish American say buy Jewish.
They overeat the shit.
You never hear Italians say buy pasta. But we have to tell each other that. Do I have to tell you to blow your nose with a tissue? Do I have to tell you to wash your ass? Certainly not. So black people supporting black people should be as natural as wiping your nose and wiping your ass. Because they're sure enough wiping their noses and wiping their asses with us and going all the way to the bank. That's what the real black agenda looks like. It's ownership, accountability, and financial independence. Not saying that you can't buy our stuff. We want you to buy our stuff. I do business everywhere. I don't just do business. George C. Frazier said to me one time, he said, you know what I like about you, David? I said, no, sir. He said, you're a race man. I said, a race man? Yeah, you love black people first. You love black people to a fault. You will do business with everybody, but you're focused on black people first because you love your race. I'm not ashamed to be black. I have business clients who come to me and say, Mr. Anderson, you're my business coach, but I have a dilemma. And I'm like, okay, well, shoot, this is what I do. I roll my sleeves up. I say, let's go. Should I put the fact that I'm black owned on my business? Because I don't want people to look at it as a black business. My response is always the same. Go to Chinatown. They got Chinese characters written outside their building. Yeah. When you look in Northeast Philadelphia, there's a Somerton section of Northeast Philadelphia where there are a lot of Ukrainians and Russians. Their businesses, their billboards, they all say, in their language. Is it English and in Russian? Everybody is proud to be who they are except for us because we got to hide it. Matthew 5:15, since y'all like to believe so much every Sunday not reading the Bible, it says, don't hide your light under a bushel, but make it plain in order to glorify the essence of the Lord. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Stop being ashamed of who we are, because who we are is what everybody is copying. You can't name an art form. You can't name a breakthrough. You can't name anything from blood banks to open heart surgery to ice cream that didn't come from our black asses. And if it did, it still is not as dope as the contributions we have made. Respect to everybody else. Yes, the Chinese built the railroads, but they were paid. We still waiting for our check. The things we've contributed to the world are unlike any other. Do you realize that the government is using melanin to test different types of sunscreen for then when we go to occupy Mars? Google it. I got nothing better to do. Your melanin is worth more than you give it credit for, because you are ashamed to be black because they have shamed you into thinking blackness is bad. That's why you fall behind BIPOC and people of color and minorities and unification and all these other trick bag terms, because black scares you. That's why I put my black ass face on the front of that book and called it the real black agenda, not the real people of color agenda, not the minority agenda, because here's the truth. Do yourself a favor. Since we're Googling things, and I challenge anybody to Google it, go look up the mission statement of the Congressional Asian Pacific Caucus. Go look up the mission statement of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and then look up the mission statement of the Congressional Black Caucus. I'll save you the trouble, and I'm paraphrasing for sake of time. It says on the Congressional Asian Caucus, we are here to secure the American dream for Asian Americans. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus says we are here to secure the American dream for Hispanic people. The Congressional Black Caucus says we want to secure the American dream for minorities and underprivileged people and people of color and everyone, and we want I'd like to teach the world to sing. Are you serious? Did you just put up a mission statement that was nothing but tether babble? The disrespect. I expect this from the shifters that did the Black Lives Matter movement and then gave all their money to gay people. No shout to gay people. I'm just talking numbers. Look at their tax returns. I don't expect the some duly elected people who then ride on the fact that they're black and then they want to get in kente cloth and take a knee like some cosplaying Colin Kaepernick at Comic-Con. No. Blackness is the one thing that we should be policing above all else. And as soon as we do that, our problems will go away. And here's the other thing, because people say, well, every time we build something, they burn it down. And start shooting. Y'all kept singing. You will go and somebody will kill your sister, kill your little brother, kill your cousin. And then you'll see the family standing with mumbling Ben Crump, and they'll say, I forgive. I want to hug the killer because we need peace and reconciliation. No, you need to know it's not going to happen again. And I'm not advocating violence, but what I'm saying is I'm still trying to figure out when they started moving until we had revolution, loss of revenue, loss of blood. You can say whatever you want about them Rodney King riots, but as soon as they lost revenue and they started losing blood, things started shifting. All of a sudden, Willie Williams, who was the police commissioner in Philly, went to LA. Because they wanted a blackface, because they wanted to do police reform. Do you understand? When do we start saying, this is what we're going to do, and I'm willing to die for it? That's it. Martin Luther King was willing to die for it. Malcolm X was willing to die for it. Nat Turner was willing to die for it. Harriet Tubman was willing to die for it. Does Jamal Bryant look like he's ready to die for it? Does D.L. Hughley, while he sits in his $1 million gated community, look like he's ready to die for it? Does Roland Martin, aside from a cheeseburger taking him out, look like he's ready to die for it? The answer is an emphatic no, but they can do a whole lot of this. And I do a whole lot of this, but I do a whole lot of this. And I'm not just talking books. Don't worry if I write books. I write checks.
Write checks.
No Diddy.
The last thing before we get up out of here.
Sure.
In a country that has historically tried to emasculate black men, villainize black men, often put black men last, prioritize everybody else before black men, what words of advice or encouragement do you have for black men and young black boys?
The first thing is you are not a problem. You are not a behavior problem. You are not a society problem. You are not a menace to society. You were not born a criminal. You are the wildest dream of your dead ancestors. That's point number one. Point number two, you are neglected because they say they don't need you, but then they want you to provide. You are neglected because they say they don't need you, but they're shoving a GI Bill down your throat. You are neglected because they don't need you, but they need you to run up and down a field and run up and down a court or hit a ball or kick a ball. They want your brilliance. They don't want your tenacity. And I hate to break it to you, if in fact we believe scientists, if in fact the first human being was found on the continent of Africa, does that not mean that the first male was black? So if black women are the mother of civilization, we are inevitably their father.
The father.
The father of civilization, meaning that you come from a royal line and you need to start accepting that. And by the way, masculinity isn't toxic. This soft, sweet, moist, sappy, sassy ass culture that they're telling you to be a part of is what's toxic because it's unnatural to everything in you. And I'm not judging anybody. I am stating fact. There is nothing wrong with being a man. There is nothing wrong with a man settling differences. There is no man who can date my daughters that can't come across my threshold first. And you know what he'll see? He will see me exercising my Second Amendment right to clean my guns while I explain to him what he will and will not do. Because anything he does, I'm going to do to him with the thing I express my Second Amendment right with. That's what a father does. That's what a man does. Manhood leads. Manhood recognizes its mistakes and takes accountability for them. Men get therapy. One of the most masculine things you can do is say the 3 words black men have been conditioned, trained, and horsewhipped into not saying, I need help. Black men have been conditioned and horsewhipped to say the 3 words that have been killing us. I got this. And we don't. We need each other, and we need to normalize the fact that when we get together, it is not a situation, respect and love to our women. But black men experience things in a way that's completely different. I do not know what it is like to have a period, so I don't tell my daughters what it's like to have a period. I left that to my wife. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We need to make sure that we are putting a circle of protection around the ones that we can, because we cannot do it for everybody, because everybody's either unable or unwilling, or it is too late for. We have to understand that there's a certain level of population that is never going to catch what I'm saying. And that's what it is. Everybody else has their trash. And I'm not calling anybody trash. I'm saying that there are certain people that can't be reached because they're too set in their ways. Right. But for those of us who are willing to go in a different direction, for those of us who are willing to turn around, for those of us who are willing to mentor, who are willing to show up. I created a Black Boys Win initiative, went on national television, and the female co-host said, what about black girls? I said, I'm sorry, have you met Beverly Bond? She did a thing called Black Girls Rock. You're having an award ceremony on BET, and shout out to Beverly Bond. Love that woman. Black girls, #1 educated, highest in student loan debt. Black girls, #1 in the C-suite, first to get fired. Black women have systems in place. The reason that Black Men Heal exists is because we need to heal. We need to be able to cry. We need to be able to learn how to channel our anger in a way that is productive. That's why I tell you as a father, if you're not taking your kid to learn some type of combat sport, I don't care if it's mixed martial arts, Kempo, Krav Maga, karate, boxing. Teach your child how to use their hands, because you can't get everything through the metal detectors. And guess what? You can beat an assault charge. It's hard to beat second-degree murder. I'm saying this. Take control of your families. As the man goes, so goes the family. As the man goes, so goes the neighborhood. At some point, you have to stand up. You have to stand up physically. You have to stand up emotionally. You have to normalize hugging your child and finding out what's going on with them, and stop disrespecting your children by saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was a full-time broadcaster at 9 years of age. The hell you mean what you mean when I want to grow up? So I'm going to waste 18 years. I'm going to waste a third, if not a quarter of my life to when I grow up. Well, that's funny because there was a time when grown up was 16. There was a time in this country when grown up was 13. So what's your definition of grow up? Oh, it's 18 because that's when you're old enough to smoke, or is it 21 when you're old enough to drink, or is it 18 when you're old enough to go in this army and then deal with all the PTSD you're dealing with? So I say to every single black man within the sound of my voice, and any single parent, grandparent, auntie, uncle, godfather, godmother, god person, non-binary, hoobly-doo, raising a black man. Get them some therapy, get them some training, prioritize nutrition, and stop buying into the narrative that we are the problem. We're the solution. Because if black men stood up, and I'm not going to do a Dr. Umar on you where I blame all the ills of black women on black men, but if black men stood up and say no more, it ain't going down. If we stop worrying about whether or not, we're going to get some tonight if we don't vote a certain way, if we said no more and said, listen, this is how it is, because I'm going to tell you this. I got Arab friends, my way or the highway. My Jewish friends, my way or the highway. My Chinese friends, my way or the highway. My black friends, yes, dear. And I'm not saying that in all those cultures, because Henny Youngman said, take my wife, please. But I'm not saying in all those cultures, there's not a whole lot of yes, dear, because there is. But when the rubber meets the road, listen, to quote Roman Reigns, I'm the founder of the feast. I'm the head of the table. I'm the tribal chief. That's it. I make the bacon. I cook the bacon too, if my wife is tired. You want to know why? Because I retired my wife in 2012 and she homeschools our autistic daughter. So I don't want to hear nothing. I'm standing on my square, even when it's hard, even when I make mistakes, even when I don't know what to do. And there are times, believe it or not, where the know-it-all don't know what to do. I'm man enough to admit that too. I'm still here fighting. Do not give up the fight. Do not give up your manhood, and stop giving your balls away to society and people who are telling you that you can't hold your own nuts in this world. You can, because there was black men who held their nuts in this world, which is why we have freedom. There was black men who held their nuts in this world, which is why we have the advancements that we have. And I'm not going to let you trample on our rights. Men have a right to be heard. And I'm so happy that I see 3 brothers out here with a platform speaking up for men, because a lot of these folks is talking crazy, both male and female.
Sure.
So I salute you for that. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Thank you. Yeah,
And right there, man.
Yo, Dave Anderson, man, let them know where they can find the book, where they can find you at.
Yeah, so you can get the book at therealblackagenda.com or anywhere that books are sold. You can follow me on all platforms at The Business Bully. I am currently touring. I am looking to get to every single black-owned bookstore that I have not set up a tour date with to have a conversation. Did I duck one question?
Not at all.
And we have more questions. I'm like, damn, I don't know.
Listen, bro, I ain't got no job. But I want people to understand. I wrote this book because y'all kept asking for solutions. Now you got them. And then for I don't like to read. Fine, it's on Audible.
And it's entertaining.
And
I read it myself. No AI. I got up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes you can tell the chapters I read at 4 o'clock in the morning because I didn't want to wake my family. It goes from this to black people need to get it together. These are the things we're suffering from. And by the way, and then that's when
everybody wake up.
So, but yeah, no, I wanted to make sure not only that I have a graphic novel version of The Real Black Agenda. If you're a believer, I have a Real Black Agenda devotional. I'm hitting every single type of demographic because there's different ways to be black and all of them are beautiful. But I want to make sure I hit as many black people as possible. And I want to say one thing real quick, if I can give one shout out.
No, go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to my good friend Erica Campbell. Yes, that Erica Campbell. Yes, that Erica Campbell from Mary Mary. That Erica Campbell who allows me a platform to push the Real Black Agenda when a lot of mainstream syndicated radio shows won't even take the call, won't even have me on. And if I do get on, they bury the interview because they're afraid of rocking the boat with their masters.
Okay, the bars right there.
Okay. You say he's a rapper, man.
Hey, listen, like, there's shots out.
No shots. I speak facts. There are interviews I've done that have been buried. That's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I ain't running from no conversation. I didn't duck one question, even the uncomfortable ones, because I stand on my score. And every word I wrote in there, I meant it. And I got another book coming November 18th called Weapons of Mass Destruction. They gave you the circus to pull the wool over your eyes.
We need that too. But I do want to, I know you mentioned also on the book, like there was some, I guess, static between you and DL, like, or they were against something that you said.
Oh, yeah. So, I went on a podcast called the Smitty and D podcast. A woman named Tony D and her father host this podcast. And Tony and I are sitting down. I go to Atlanta because for me, Atlanta gives me more love. Like New York and Atlanta are my top markets, even though I'm from Philly. Philly's 3.
Yeah.
Even though it should be number 1. But
for sure.
Again, I ain't
like
fly
that,
enough. I don't scam enough people. So anyway, I'm doing this podcast. And what I said was, she says to me, Dave, what do you think of reality television? I said, I hate it. And I can't remember everything that I said, but what I said was, you got this image of black women that is not who black women are. You know, you got the weave down to here, you got a BBL that's killing y'all and your thighs don't match, you got eyelashes out to here,
the same shit
and
over there,
you got, you know, you got these jobs. Now, for those of you who have never been in reality television, they have these people called story editors. Story editor is a fancy word for writer. So they conduct different things and they put people in certain places. It's not reality. It is scripted and shaped and put in a box and then they let them go.
Right.
And they'll say, well, such and such said this about you. Look at this right here. Or I heard such and such said this about you. And then they'll take the camera outside the bathroom. And that's why you had the captions, because they didn't know they were being taped. All of these things happen. If you have, and this is as a business owner, if you have a boutique, right? And somebody gets hurt in the boutique, you know what that means? You liable. So how is it they fighting in their boutiques and in their businesses if this situation wasn't staged? That's what I said. I'm talking about real business. And when I said that, people, you can't say that women having a boutique or eyelash line isn't real business. I have a friend who's a business partner of mine. Her name is Elizabeth Jennings, the Minister of Beauty. You can look her up on YouTube. She's a phenomenal esthetician. She has not 1, not 2, but 3 locations in the Carolinas. It's called Carolina Eye Candy. She does eyelashes and brows and skincare and all that good stuff. So I'm not speaking against my own financial interest. I'm calling a spade a spade. If this was real, you would have been sued for assault. There would have been some arrests. There would have been some liability. But they manufacture this. Not only that, D.L. Hughley had some issues and he started calling me a blogger. When you know my name, your executive producer used to be my boss. The guy who used to write your jokes was sitting in that room, and your co-host used to work with me in Nashville. I was like a big brother to her son. I helped raise her son. So this isn't like, you know who I am, but you're a gatekeeper and you're afraid to have a conversation because I'm not a meme. I'm not walking around asking people what they find suspicious. I'm telling them what's suspicious and standing down on it. Not a Roland Martin, not a D.L. Hughley, damn sure not a Ricky Smiley. And I'm not calling out people to call out people. I'm stating names because you asked. Will ever have that conversation with me without, go to my iPad. Where's my phones, Eli? Where are my phones right now?
In the bag.
Good 30 feet away from me, right? Did I have to look at anything? Did I have to reference the book that I wrote? No, because I'm not from the GED section. I'm from the REAL section. And over here, I'm outraged because if the least of us start doing bad, all of us are doing bad. But to act like the solution can only come from one place because you are bought and paid for by them is problematic at best and damn near selling out at worst. Period, point blank. And I stand 10 toes down on that. Reality television is a poison in our community. Andy Cohen is caking off, and to act like he's not is crazy. And what I also said was, you will sit up here and bastardize the name of Mona Scott, and I got issues with Mona Scott, sure. But there is a guy named Jim Ackerman. That's the creator of Love and Hip Hop. Do you know what Jim Ackerman looks like? No, you don't. But he is palm colored. Yes, yes, he is. Ace is right. Ace is high right now. He's right. He's right. And I don't mean Ace is high. I mean Ace is high like he just won.
Oh, you're on fire.
That's what I'm talking about. So he got mad at that. Jamel Hill did an entire think piece on YouTube about me. But when I said sit down with me and had a conversation, you know what I got? Bought and paid for. Again. Because all they're taught is, and all they're told to say is Orange Man bad. And yeah, he's bad. But you know who else is bad? The people who've been paying and getting paid to keep us in our predicament. Period. And by the way, if you're mad at Donald Trump for the business things he did, why aren't you mad at Nancy Pelosi for being the greatest day trader since E.F. Hutton? No one has a better trading record than Nancy Pelosi in American history. As far as I know, I could be wrong, but I don't think she does. She ain't missed yet. Why isn't she on the stock market? Oh, she's doing the will of the American people? She helping black folks? Oh, because she took the knee and put the kente cloth around. Y'all like that? Yeah. Good boy, son. Shout out to Ed Lover.
Yo, listen, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a review. I don't, whatever platform y'all listening to, make sure.
That's a fact, man.
Like, I don't know.
Yo, cop that book, man.
Cop the book, man. Like, yo,
TheRealBlackAgenda.com. Cop the book.
You already.
you guys on the next one, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. This might have been my favorite interview. I ain't gonna lie to you.